the prettiest, most concerned, most determined, most committed, and definitely the most charismatic presenter. Pavi is already on this very live streaming that I am always here with, right? So beautiful people, you must have a lot of speculations. You must have a lot of desires, your wants that you must have taken determination to be accomplished, right? So in this very situation, in this very periphery, what I want to what I actually want to tell you is that actually life, right, life that we are dealing with right now has to be dealt with in a proper way, has to be managed and has to be taken seriously. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I am, focused, life that we are leading right now has its power that can control, that can take the grip over the entire universe. So in this very fact, what I want to tell with you all people is that don't take the life that we are leading as take it for granted, because life, the phenomenon that we are over here, had its one sort of cycle that need to be completed with. So in this very period, what we need to take into consideration is that the more we take the life in a broader spectrum, the more that life will gonna provide us the sort of opportunities, sort of privileges, sort of flexibilities that we haven't expected in our life so far. So because of that very understanding, that very acknowledgement, that very niche, I am Pavi as an inspirational guide, motivational, passion, let's say speaker, is already over here this live streaming, so that you people need to take into consideration and need to take this very live streaming very serious, and you need to follow the guidelines, the sort of discourses I am dealing with, that I have considered personally, that need to be taken into our account. So my name is Pavi, and I'm definitely from Nepal, and I'm Nepali girl who is always over here addressing the beautiful sort of ideas that need to be executed, not in that sense of disseminating the negativities in the society. Furthermore, better than that, more than that, I am always hosting this very program for the bestment of your for your accomplishment of your success, being so much committed, becoming so much enhanced and polished sort of speaker so far. So this is the platform, this is the very domain that I have continuously utilizing, that I have been focusing my ledger focus to make you people really feel that life that we are gifted should not be taken for granted, as there are handful people who are here to understand and comprehend the prominence, that means the permanence nature of our existence, and according to that very understanding, that very your realizations, they are, controlling 99% and the entire, scenario. And because of that very region also, I am I am so much glad and so much ecstatic position to make you feel understand that life should not be taken so easily, because once life will slip from our hand, then definitely, my friends, we will torn into non-living things. There will not be the existence that we have analyzed so far. Understanding the very fact about the life, I am always revolving, and I'm always focusing my concentration on the very fact of the life that need to be analyzed, that need to be understood from the core of our heart. And just understanding is not just sufficient. We need to follow the very short of understanding in our regular basis, because there are a lot of speculations, there are a lot of guesses, there are a lot of disagreements, note of dissent from the outside environment, outside scenario. But still we need to stand aloud, we need to stand tall, we need to take gigantic form of making all speculations wrong. So because of that very reason, no matter what the situation, no matter what the society, ideal norms and values and dogmas and the doctrines, they are always their opposite of me, against me, I am coming, I am focusing, and I am investing this very precious and pristine a moment into my life, because my life is my life, right? My thinking process is my thinking process. If I am 100% right with the thinking process, with the positivity that I am ingrained with from the very Almighty God, then I should not underestimate the power of my, mentality, the positivity, which can definitely be proven, that will definitely validate it, that will definitely confirmed positive, not by the, assumptions, not by the presumptions, not by the perceptions of the society, but by the validations of myself. Because of that very reason, I'm not afraid of the thinking process of other people, that what will they gonna think about me, what are their comments, what are their likes and dislikes. But having said that, you might think that I'm quite egoistic and I might be quite self-centered, but your assumptions, your perceptions, and your judgment and by sort of thinking might be wrong if you haven't understood me clearly, right? So this is the very program I am always conducting, becoming myself, and I am as an alert and very awakened sort of human beings, in sense that of understanding the pain or the sufferings of the people. What I mean to tell you is that life will not always be the perfect that we have considered, that we assume by the stereotype sort of a show called thinking process by other people. Life has a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulties, complications that need to be fought with, and the sort of your thinking process, the way you challenge the life, the more the life gonna provide you the sense of your urgency, sense of your understanding, and the belief system system and the determination and the commitment that you will definitely gonna bring the positivity, bring the sense of difference, and you can add even one break to the foundation for the people, especially who are trying their level best, who are dying for the progress of the society, progress of the personal development, organizational development with the effort of their continuation so far. So sure, this is the very program where I always been motivated, where I always been determined, and where I am always here to make you people understand and make your life beautiful as your norms and values. Because once you break that ice, or let's say when you are given the breakthroughs, then definitely my friends, my colleagues over here from the entire universe, that all people, all the world, all the people of the world will come to your feet. But it doesn't mean that the people actually who come to your feet, I do not want to connotate, I do not want to denote this very implication in a negative way. That means all the people will become your followers the way you want to be followed. Because when you have your positive implications, when you people have your positive intentions to establish the regularities, establish the positive share of disciplines in the society, then I don't think that people will go against of you. It's okay, it's okay. Don't be so much panic, don't be so much very reactive. What we need to feel ourselves is that this society, this world is also the place where stupid people are there. In this very sense, we need to take passions in ourselves, and we need to take that very strong sort of commitment to spread the masses of love. And we need to forget those people who are there always throwing their thrones, throwing the negativities towards us, and they are making inferior, and they are always there with a bad mouth. Because yeah, definitely. If you see a flower, rose flower, as it is the month of February, and you have a lot of understanding about the love, and rose itself is the symbol of power, right? A symbol of power, and the rose itself has a beautiful sense of fragrance, and rose itself has a lot of thrones protected. And in this very context, what I want to tell you is that life is like the flower, like rose. We have a positive side of it. It has its beautiful fragrance from which we can make a lot of branded perfume with very it's the material. And at the same time there is thorn and surrounded with that means we people need to understand that in this very world, everything has its two aspects. It's a bright aspect, it's wrong aspect. But what we should build the habit of just observing and just taking the positive side of it. The more you devote your concentration towards the positivity, the more you will gonna be the person of your choice, the person of your choice, and definitely you will gonna be able to establish the history that you might not have analyzed, that you might not have realized, and you might not have that's very confident in yourself. The more you deviate your attention from the negativity, the more you will going closer and closer and closer to the destination, to the motto, to the purpose of your life. So as I have already compared the life of ours with a beautiful rose red flower, then definitely, my friends, you have that's a very sense of understanding that you have already taken the summary, that taken the Egyptian, taken the analogies that I am providing right now. So beautiful people. Mm-mm. The more you understand the sense of your important sense of your permanence in this very beautiful world, in this very beautiful universe, the more you will going to lead your life in full-fledged form. Because I have seen, right, I have seen people complaining always from morning to the whole day, and they are not performing, and they are not giving their effort from their side, and they are always in a panic mode. They are just becoming so much negative. They actually do not want to see the positivity in themselves. They are always there making the life full of waste, full of garbages, and their mind is full of negativities. Actually, they do not want to perceive their life as a wonderful masterpiece that is especially gifted by the nature. As long as we people are not ready, right, if we are not there to take the initiations that need to be taken by us, I think life will become the shower, life will become the better, and life will not there provide us the sort of celebrations, beautiful sort of events where we can stand out loud, and where we can be there making all people back, and we are always there successful, and we will become the exemplar, and we will be there in the memories of the coming generations, and the life that we are handed over by our dad mom. That means the legacies that we will gonna left in the history will be printed in the golden lines and golden words. So far, so beautiful people. So beautiful people, I am so much passionate, and I am so much glad and so much proud and privileged, and also blessed to have this beautiful, wonderful, charismatic life from the Almighty God, the power of a supernatural sort of phenomenon towards me. And what is the thing that I want to deliver for you people is that, please, my friends, don't take your life so much, easy, and don't think your life so much cheap, because just you can think how precious, how expensive, and how much incomparable and invaluable our life, right? You have got your analytical power for thinking inside your brain, and how important and how prominent that hurt that you are gifted with. You can know it by the power of your vision. More than that, the power that you get from your thinking process is transcendental. It is, it is a phenomenal. Actually, the form body, the whole body that you have got from the God, from from the Almighty, from the, you can say it Jesus. Let's say you can resonate. Let's say you can, think your God have its purpose in your life, have purpose in my life. And because of that very reason, I am taking this sole responsibility to make you people, feel blessed, privileged, and proud. Just don't underestimate the dexterities, the potentialities that is in the form of dormant form, and you are not there to understand, and you are not utilizing your power of your understanding in full-fledged. So, beautiful people, I think understanding ourselves by ourselves is not sufficient. Sometimes we need to, take the share of, possibilities, set of power, knowledge from the very important people in our life, and we need to, make mentor that the mentors that might be available in the physical level, or that might not be, but we need to, always in a winning sort of attitude. We should not lose our winning attitude. The more you become so much aggressive, so much vigorous, and so much vibrant, not violent, okay, so much vibrant, and so much radiant in your behavior, the more you will in the position to win the world. Because if you see the history, if you see any sort of a battle, then definitely, my friends, the legends have the vibrant sort of behaviors, that sort of attitudes that have helped them to establish as the heroes, as the powerful figures, and they have the resilient nature of winning, but not becoming a loser. Okay, so, beautiful people, this is the very program that I am, continuously conducting without any sort of, bias or partial sort of a nature. But I am always conducting with the sense of making all people be consolidate, becoming so much determined and formidable, with that invincible, without losing the sense of your understanding, sense of your discipline. Okay, what I personally think is that the regularities, the continuations of power that you people must understand is. Like it's like breathing. It's a process of breathing. Once you stop, breathing, then I don't think that we will gonna, speak. We will gonna understand ourselves in full form. Okay, so I want to rate, and I don't just want to rate, but I am going through with this very, book. It is very powerful book that I have experienced once. I have already read it, and I have taken a gist, and I have already grasped the very important knowledge, and I have acknowledged, and I have comprehended from my heart. And for the sake of you all people as well, I am always going to repeat it to remind you that life is not the life that you have thought, that life sometimes stand, and life will definitely gonna provide you the sort of challenges, the sort of difficult ways that you sometimes think that it is really very impossible to overcome. But it's wrong, right? It's wrong. Life will always be there to test us, but still we need to have that sort of resiliency, and we need to take the inspiration from our side. And because of that very region, I am always shorting out in selecting that very sort of historical important and proven, and they themselves have proven, and they have stand out and have given a lot of ideas to be shared with. So because of that very reason, I am reading it aloud, A Promised Land by Barack Obama, and it is the best selling, which has that stood out number one best selling in different sort of platforms. And I have been reading it loud, not just for the sake of myself, but the sake of all the audiences out there. And at the same time, I also do have the book from Michelle Obama, and I think I should not describe much about him. I don't want to be so much biased and so much impartial, so much impartial, just talking about him. There are a lot of great people in the entire world. Whoever you want to pick, you can pick. It's your freedom. And yeah, definitely the purpose and the thing that I want to conduct this very program is to make myself polished, sharpened, and along with that, I want also my people be very much disciplined and achieve the sort of success accomplishments that you have kept in your vision board. Okay, so I want to clear the and I want to read it loud, the book that I have been considering. It's very important to transfer the your not just in a superficial level, not in artificial way, not just for the change for the sake of change. Just I want history to be created. Okay, and yeah, definitely, my friends, it's a very cold. And even if here is cold, I am continuously conducting this very program. Okay, yesterday I read it loud up to page number 14, and from today I want to read from page number 15. A Promised Land, the bait, page number 15. I have recorded elsewhere my organizing years in Chicago. Victories were small and transitory in the mostly black working class neighborhoods where I spent my time. My organization was a bit a player in its attempts to address the changes that were sweeping not just Chicago but cities across the country. The deadlines of manufacturing white flight, the rise of a discrete and disconnected underclass, even a new knowledge class began to fuel gentrification in the urban core. But if my one impact on Chicago was small, the city changed the arc of my life. For a status, it got me out of my one head. I had to listen to and not just theorize about what mattered to people. I had to ask strangers to join me and one another on real life projects, fixing up a park or removing obstacles from a housing project. Or starting an after school program, I experienced a failure and I learned to back up so I could really those who had put their trust in me. I suffered rejection and rejoiced often enough to stop fearing them. In other words, I grew up and got my sense of humor back. I came to love the men and women I worked with, a single mom living on a ravaged block who somehow got all four children through college, the Irish priest who threw open the church doors every evening so that kids had an option other than gangs. And the lad of a steel worker who went back to school to become a social worker, the stories of hardship and the modest victories confirmed for me again and again the basic decency of the people through them. I saw the transformations that took place when citizens held their leaders and institutions to account, even on something as small as putting in a stop sign on a busy corner or getting more police patrols. I noticed how people stood up a little stretches saw themselves differently when they learned that their voices mattered. Through them, I resolved the lingering questions of my racial identity, for it turned out there was no single way to be black, just trying to be a good man was enough. Through them, I discovered a community of faith that it was okay to doubt, to question, and still reach for something beyond the there. And now, and because I heard in church basement and on a Bangalore porches, the very same valued honesty and hard work and a pattern that had been drilled into me by my mother and grandparents. I came to trust the common thread that exists between people. I really like the sound of, flipping, or let's say the so folding and turning the pages of the book. Okay, it's a very bulky book. It's bulky book, and so much satisfied with the sense of my understanding and going through the lines of these very powerful people and the entire world, in the entire universe, right? And yeah, I must love this sort of books because the spectrum of thinking is becoming it's becoming, not becoming, okay, becoming gradually, becoming broader and broader in the sense of my understanding, in the sense of my acknowledgement, and the way I'm thinking. But 1 year before has been broadened, has been massively in the process or transferring. Okay, and this is the region I am actually becoming, book lover, and I am trying my level best to execute these lines to transfer the whole world, the entire universe, no matter what, whatever. Okay, a promised land. I cannot help but wonder sometimes what would have happened if I had stayed with organizing, or at least some version of it. With many local heroes I have met over the years, I might have managed to build up an institution that could receive a neighborhood or a proportion of the city, anchored deep in a community. I might have steered money and imagination to change not the world but just the one place or that one set of kids, doing work that chose the lives of the neighbors and friends in some measurable and useful way. But I don't stay, I felt, for Harvard Law School, and there is where the story gets murkier in my mind with my motives open to interpretation. But I don't stay. I left for the harbor school. I told myself then, and I like to tell myself still, that I left organizing because I saw the work I was doing as too slow, too limited, not able to match the needs of the people I hope to serve. A local job training center could not make up for thousands of skilled jobs lost by a plant closing. An after school program could not compensate for chronically underfunded schools or kids raised by their grandparents, because both parents were doing time on every source. It seemed we kept bumping up against somebody, or a politician or a bureaucrat, some distant CEO who had the power to make things better, but but didn't. And when we did get concessions from them, it was most often too little, too late. The power to save budgets and guide policy was what we needed, and that power lay elsewhere. Moreover, I came to realize, realize that just 2 years before I arrived, there had been a moment for change in Chicago, one that was both social and political, a deep, swept current that I had failed to fully appreciate because it hadn't conformed to my theories. It was the moment to elect Harold Washington as the city's first black mayor. It seemed like it sprang out of nowhere at grassroots, a political campaign as anything modern politics had ever seen. A small band of black activists and business leaders tried off the chronic bias and inequities of America's most segregated big city, decided to register a record number of voters, and then drafted a road-tuned congressman of a prodigious talent but limited ambition to run for an office that appeared well out of the reach. Beautiful people, you must go through with such a, bulky sort of book in your life. Okay, the more you indulge yourself reading out loud and becoming so much passionate about going through such a huge sort of book, the more you will definitely gonna turn your locality, the locality you deserve, the locality you desire so far. Okay, and my name is Pabi. I am from Nepal, and I am so much privileged to share such a precious, such a fruitful moment with you all positive minded people, whether you yeah, are from Nepal, America, Canada, or Australia. And I am always very much delighted, and I am always very much in this beautiful position, resonating the way that I am thinking right now. So you all people should not take your life to be take it for granted, and you should not mislead your society where you belong. Once you get the sense of your belongingness, your community, you will definitely be there taking your initiations and coming to the front line so far. So beautiful people, it is not always sufficient just going through your textbook, and it is not always sufficient to make you people inspired by the words that you can trash for the society so far. So Okay. Moreover, I realized, okay, it seemed like it sprang out of nowhere at grassroots political campaign as anything modern politics had ever seen. A small band of black activists and business leaders tried off the chronic biases and inequities of America's most segregated big city decided to register a record number of votes and then drafted a rotund congressman of prodigious talent but limited ambition to run for an office that appeared well out of the reach. Nobody thought it had a chance. Even Harold Ward's spectacle at the campaign operated hand to mouth, stopped largely by inexperienced volunteers. But then it happened. Some form of the spontaneous combustion. People who had never thought about politics, people who had never even voted, got swept up in the cause. Seniors and school children started sparking the campaign's blue buttons, a collective unwillingness to keep putting up with a steady accumulation of the unfairness and slights, all the bugs, traffic stops, and second-hand textbook. All the times black folks walked past in a packed felt house on the north side how much nicer it was than the one in the neighborhood. All the times that had been passed over for the promotions or denied bank loans, guarded like a cyclone and toppled city hall. By the time I arrived in Chicago, Herlar was halfway through his first term. The city council, once a robber stands for old man Delay, had divided into racial camps, a controlling majority of the white elder men blocking every reform that Horrell proposed. He tried to wheedle in court deals, but they would not pass. It was a revetting television travel in wrote that it limited what Harold could deliver for those who had elected him. It took a federal court redrawing a classical gerrymandered automatic map for Harold to finally get the majority and break the deadlock. And before he could realize many of the changes he would promised, he was dead of the heart attack, a session of the older rich Dolly ultimately regained his father's throne. Far from the center of the actions, I was this drama unfold and trying to absorb its relations. I saw how the tremendous energy for that moment could not be sustained without a structured organization and skills in the governance. I saw how a political campaign based on the racial redress, no matter how reasonable, generated a fear and backlash and ultimately placed limits on progress. And in the rapid collapse of the Horrors coalition after his death, I showed the danger of relying on a single charismatic leader to bring about change. And at what a force he was for those 5 years, despite the roadblocks Chicago changed on its watch. City services from tree trimming to snow removal to the road repair came to be spread more evenly across wards. New schools were built in a poor neighborhood. Jobs were no longer subject solely to the patronage, and the business community at long last started paying attention to the lack of diversity in the minds. Above all, Hurrell gave people hope. The way black Chicagoans talked about him in those years was reminiscent of how a certain generations of the white progressive talk about Bobby Kennedy. It was not too much what he did as how he made you feel like anything was possible, like the world which yours to make. For me, this candid essay. For me, this candid essay. It made me think for the first time that I wanted to somebody run for the public office. I wasn't the only one. Dosh. Uh, mm, A Promised Land by Barack Obama. Yet it was shortly after Horace's election that Jesse Jackson would announce he was running for president. Wasn't this where the energy of the civil rights movement had migrated into electoral politics? John Lewis and young Julian Bond hadn't they run for the office deciding this was the arena where they could make the most difference. I knew there were pitfalls, the compromises, the constant money chase, the losing track of the ideals, and the relentless pursuit of winning. But maybe there was another way. Maybe you could generate the same energy, the same sense of purpose, not just within the black community, but across racial lines. Maybe with enough preparations, policy know-how, and management skills, you could avoid some of the horrors mistakes. Maybe the principles of organizing could be marshaled not just to run a campaign but to govern, to encourage participations and active citizenship among those who had been left out, and to teach them not just to trust their elected leaders but to trust one another and themselves. That's what I told myself, but it was not the whole story. I was also struggling with narrow questions of my own ambitions. As much as I had learned from organizing, I did have much to solve for it in terms of a concrete accomplishment. Even my mother, the woman who had always marched to a different drama, worried about me. I don't know, but see, they told me on Christmas you can spend a lifetime walking outside institutions, but you might get more done trying to change those institutions from inside. I don't know about that. Okay, plus take it from me, as he said with a huge, rueful laugh, being broke is overrated. And so it was that in the fall of 1988, I took my ambitions to a place where ambition hardly stood out. A valedictorian student body president, Latin scholars, debate champions, the people I found at Harvard Law School were generally impressive young men and women who, unlike me, had grown up with the justifiable convictions that they were destined to lead lives of consequence. That I ended up doing well there, I attribute mostly to the fact that I was a few years older than my classmates, whereas many felt burdened by the workload. For me, days spent in the library, or better at on the couch of my off campus apartment, a ball game on with the sound muted, felt like an absolute luxury after 2 years of organizing community meetings and knocking on the doors in the cold. There was also this the story of a law. It turned out wasn't so different from what I had done during my years of solitary musing on questions. What principles should govern the relationship between the individuals and society, and how far did our obligations to all this extend? How much should the government regulate the market? How does social change happen, and how can rules ensure that everybody has a voice? I could not get enough for this stuff. I love the back and forth, especially with the more conservative students who, despite our disagreement, seem to appreciate the fact that I took their arguments seriously. In classroom discussions, my hand kept suiting up, earning me some well-deserved eye rolls. I could not help it. It was as if after years of locking myself away with the strange obsessions, like juggling, say, a sword, swallowing, and now found myself in a short school. Enthusiasm makes up for a lust of host of deficiencies. I tell my daughters, and at least that was true for me at Harvard. In my second year, I was elected the first black head of the law review, which generated a bit of national press. I signed a contract to write a book. Job offers arrived from around the country, and it was assumed that my path was now charted just as it had been for a precedence at a law review. I had a clerk for a Supreme Court justice, worked for a top law firm or an office of the United States Attorney, and when the time was right, I could, if I wanted to, try my hand at politics. It was ideal stuff. The only person who questioned the smooth path of as accent seemed to be I had come too quickly. The big salaries, big dazzled the attention. It felt like the trap. Luckily, I had time to consider my next move, and anyway, the most important decision ahead would end up having nothing to do with the law. Actually, you know what, beautiful people, sometimes it's very, difficult. It's very hard and very difficult to convince the people, and your, imaginations, your, ideas to be regulated and executed. But we need to take passion within us. The more there are a lot of criticisms, the more there are much criticize against our ideas, against our passion. What we need to do is that we are heading just, right path, and we are taking the habits that will definitely gonna change everything. And this is the, region. I, as an inspirational guide, motivational speaker, is always, motivating myself, and I'm always taking the inspirations that I need to take from within, because no matter what the situation gonna be, if you will stand tall yourself, if you resiliently prove yourself, not to the world but for your self-sufficiently, then definitely, my friends, it will possible for us to change everything in a positive way. Okay, questions: what principles should govern the relationship between the individuals and society, and how far did our obligations to the others extended? The others extend. How much should the government regulate the market? How does social change happen? And how can rules ensure that everybody has a voice? I could not get enough of this stuff. I love the back and forth, especially with the more conservative student who, despite our disagreements, seemed to appreciate the fact that I took their arguments seriously. In classroom discussions, my hand kept shooting up, owning me some well-deserved eye rolls. I could not help it. It was as if, after years of the locking myself away from a strange obsessions like juggling, say, or short swallowing, I now found myself in a circus school. Enthusiasm makes up for the host of the deficiencies. I tell my daughters, at least that was true for at Harvard. In my second year, I was elected the first black head of the law review, which generated the beat of the national press. I signed a contract to write a book. Job offers arrived from around the country, and it was as that my path was now charted just as it had been for my president, predecessors at the law review. I would a clerk for a Supreme Court justice, work for a top law for of the Office of the United States Attorney, and when the time was right, I could, if I wanted to try my hand at politics. It was handy stuff. The only person who questioned the smooth path of accent seemed to be I had to come too quickly. The big salaries being dazzled the attention. It felt like a trap. Luckily, I had time to consider my next move, and anyway, the most important decision ahead would end up having nothing to do with law. Okay? Chapter 2. Misal Lavgren Robinson was already practicing law when we met. She was 25 years old and an associate at Sidley and Austin, the Chicago based firm where I worked at the summer after my first year of law school. She was tall, beautiful, funny, outgoing, generous, and wicked smart, and I was smitten almost from the second I saw her. She had been assigned by the firm to look out for me and to make sure I knew where the office photocopier was and that I generally felt welcome. That also meant to get to go out for lunches together, which allowed us to sit and talk at first about our jobs and eventually about everything else. Over the course of the next couple of years, during the school break, when Michelle came to Harvard as a part of Sidley recruiting team, the two of us went to dinner and took long walks along the Charles River, talking about movies, families and places in the world we wanted to see. When her father unexpectedly died of the complications rising from the multiple sclerosis, I flew out to be with her and she confronted me when I learned that Grams had advanced prostate cancer. In other words, we became friends as well as lovers, and as my law school graduation approached, we gingerly circled around the prospect of a life together. Once I took her to an organizing workshop I was conducting a favor for a friend who ran a community center on the south side. The participants were mostly single moms, some on the feral, a few with my marketable skills. I asked them to describe their world as it was and as they would like to be. It was a simple exercise had done many times, a way of people to bridge the reality of their communities and their lives with the things they could concisely change after as we were walking to the car. Misal lashed her arm through mine and said she had been tossed by my easy rapport with the women. They need more than hope, I said. I tried to explain to her the conflict that I was feeling between working for a change within the system and pushing against it, wanting to lead but wanting to empower people to make change for themselves. The world as it is and the world as it should be, she said softly, something like that. Michelle was an original. I knew nobody quite her, and although it hadn't happened yet, I was starting to think I might ask her to marry me for happened yet. I was starting to think I might ask her to marry me. For Miss Saul, marriage was a given, the next step in a relationship as serious as ours. For me, someone who had grown up with a mother whose marriages didn't last, the need to formalize a relationship had always felt less pressing. Not only that, but in those early years of our courtship, our arguments could be fierce. A cocksure as I could be, said never gave Grant, her brother Craig, a basketball star at Princeton who had worked in investment banking before getting into coaching, used a job that a family didn't think Michelle. Miss, they called her, that would never get married because she was too tough. No guy could keep up with her. The weird thing was, but about her how she constantly challenged me and kept me honest. And what was Missile thinking? I imagine her just before we met, very much the young professional, tailored, and Crips focused on her career and doing things the way they were supposed to be done with no time for nonsense. And then this strange guy from Hawaii with a scruffy wardrobe and crazy dreams wanders into her life. That was a part of our appeal. She would tell me how different I was from the guys she had grown up with, the men she had dated. Different even from her one father, whom she adored, a man who had never finished community college, who had been struck by MS in his early 30s, but who had never complained and had gone to work every single day and made all of the missiles dance recital and Craig's basketball games and was always present for his family, truly his pride and joy. Life with me promised Missal something else. Those things that she saw, she had missed as a child: adventure, travel, and a breaking a strand just at her roots in Chicago, her big extended family, her common sense, her desire to be a good mom above all else promised in anger that I had been missing for much of my youth. We didn't just love each other and make each other laugh and share the same basic values. There was symmetry there. The way we complemented each other, we could have each other's back, got each other's blind spots. We could be a team. Of course, that was another way of saying we were very different in experience and in temperament. For Missile, the road to the good life was narrow and full of hazards. Family was all you could count on. A big risk wasn't taken lightly, and over outward success, a good job, a nice house never made you feel ambivalent because failure and want to wear all around you just a low off or shooting away. Misal never worried about selling out because growing up on the south side meant you were always at some level an outsider. In her mind, the roadblocks to making it were plenty clear. You didn't have to go looking for them. The doubts arose from having to prove, no matter how well you did, that you longed in the room. You belonged in the room. Prove it not just to those who doubted you, but to yourself. As law school was coming to an end, I told Missal of my plan. I wouldn't clerk. Instead, I would move to Chicago, try to keep my hand in community work while also practicing law at a small firm that is specialized in civil rights. If a good opportunity presented itself, I said I could even see myself running for office. None of this came as a surprise to her. She trusted me. She said to do what I believed was right, but I need to tell. I wish I had your optimism. Sometimes I do, but people can be so selfish and just plain arrogant. I think a lot of people don't want to be bothered, and I think politics seems like it's a full of people willing to do anything for power who just think about themselves, especially in Chicago. I'm not sure you will ever change that. I can try. Cannot I said with a smile. What's the point of having a fancy law degree if you cannot take some risks? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I will be okay. We will be okay. She took my face in her hands. Have you ever noticed that if there is a hard way and an easy way, you choose the hard way every time? Why do you think that is? Okay, my friends, this is the end of this very sessions, and I'm so much privileged and so much the most fortunate and luckiest person to enter life. This very understanding, not just to so and become so pompous and pomposity, but I want my life to be changed, transfer, and take that level of transcendental repetitions. Okay, thank you so much. Today I read it loud up to page number 22. From tomorrow I will I'm gonna start from page number 23. Okay, and thank you so much. Me stay always privileged being self-sufficient. Okay, and thank you so much, Gopal ZM, for watching me and for supporting me. Thank you. Okay, 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 okay. Thank you so much. My favorite girl from Nepal. Thank you so much. Thank you. Elris, clever positivity is Pavi's message here. Thank you so much. Elris, where are you from? Definitely, I want to welcome you, Nepal, to visit and share a lot of positivities. Okay, thank you. Anyways, you are there watching me alone. If I am, even if I am, alone to address you. And yeah, my friends, we born alone, we die alone, and we need to believe in ourselves no matter what the entire universe is against you. Definitely, if you sow the seeds of wisdom, positivity, vibrant nature of transforming the society, first yourself, then definitely everything will going to happen best, happen going to accomplish well. Okay, thank you anyways. Thank you so much, sir. Bye bye. Take care. Love you. Love you, everybody. Okay, bye.